Have you ever thought that the very nuts you believe are great for your health, like almonds, walnuts, cashews, or Brazil nuts, might actually be making you feel worse? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I've seen it happen time and time again. Hi there, I'm Dr. Emily Cater, and welcome to Healing in Old Age, where I guide you toward living longer, stronger, and better after 60. Nuts truly are nutritional powerhouses. They're packed with antioxidants, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals that support your heart, brain, bones, and more. But here's the catch: after 60, your body changes, your digestion slows down, your metabolism becomes more sensitive, and even the healthiest food can backfire if you eat it the wrong way. I had one patient who did everything right. She avoided sugar, processed food, and greasy snacks, yet she still felt bloated, tired, and struggled with sleep. Turns out, she was eating 4 to 5 Brazil nuts every morning, thinking she was doing her body a favor. But it was actually too much, and it was hurting her more than helping. That's just one example of the 9 common mistakes I see people make when eating nuts. And that's what today's video is all about. We'll walk through the 9 most common types of nuts, from everyday options like peanuts and almonds to the more indulgent ones like macadamia and pistachios. For each one, I'll break down a key mistake that could quietly be sabotaging your health, and more importantly, I'll show you how to fix it in a simple, natural, science-backed way. Because sometimes, you don't need to cut out healthy foods, you just need to eat them the right way. And often, one small change can transform your energy, sleep, and even your blood test results. So stay with me until the end, because what you learn today might just change the way you snack forever. Are you ready? Let's get started. Let's start with a nut that's small but mighty, and surprisingly risky if you're not careful: Brazil nuts. Now, don't get me wrong, Brazil nuts are incredibly powerful. Just one single nut contains over 130% of your daily selenium needs. Selenium is a trace mineral that supports your thyroid, boosts your immune system, and even helps protect your nerves. Sounds great, right? But here's the thing: when it comes to selenium, more is definitely not better. I once had a patient, 67, active, health-conscious, who started eating a small handful of Brazil nuts every morning. She thought, they're good for me, so why not a few more? Within weeks, she started feeling nauseous, lightheaded, and noticed a strange tingling in her fingers. What was going on? Her blood work told the story: selenium toxicity, also known as selenosis. It can cause fatigue, irritability, hair loss, and in some cases, even long-term nerve damage, and all it took was too much of a good thing. So here's my recommendation: stick to just 1 Brazil nut per day. That's enough to support your thyroid and brain without tipping the scale. And when you buy them, look for nuts in their shell. They stay fresher longer and are less likely to be rancid. Always store them in the fridge, not at room temperature, and avoid pre-shelled, bulk bin bags. Those oils can break down fast, and you might be eating something stale without even knowing it. Think of Brazil nuts not as a snack, but as a supplement from nature. Just 1 a day, no more, no less. A tiny change that could save you from a big problem. Coming up next, we'll talk about another popular nut for brain health, but only if you store it the right way. You might be surprised how much damage a little air and heat can do. Next up is one of my favorite nuts for supporting cognitive health: walnuts. These little brain-shaped wonders are packed with plant-based omega-3s, antioxidants, and even natural melatonin, the hormone your body produces to regulate sleep. In short, walnuts are like nature's brain food. They help improve memory, support blood flow, stabilize mood, and promote better sleep. And for anyone over 60, those are exactly the areas we want to protect. But here's something most people don't know: the oils in walnuts are extremely delicate. Unlike almonds or pistachios, walnut oils spoil quickly when exposed to air, heat, or light. And once those oils go rancid, they don't just lose their nutritional value, they can actually become harmful. Rancid walnut oil creates free radicals. These unstable molecules damage brain cells, trigger inflammation, and may even disrupt your natural sleep rhythm. And the worst part? You might not even notice. Stale walnuts don't always smell obviously bad, just slightly bitter or dry. You could be eating them and never realize they're working against you. So how do you keep walnuts fresh and effective? Buy only vacuum-sealed or airtight packaged walnuts. Avoid buying them from open-air bulk bins where they're exposed to oxygen and light. Once you open the package, store them in your refrigerator, or even better, your freezer, especially if your home is warm. And always trust your senses. If something smells off, it probably is. One more tip. If you like snacking on walnuts at night, which I often recommend to my patients, choose raw, unsalted, and unroasted ones. That way, the natural melatonin remains intact, helping you fall asleep more easily and wake up refreshed. So remember, walnuts can be one of the smartest things you eat, but only if they're stored smart. 2. In the next part, we'll talk about a popular nut that supports both your heart and bones, but loses much of its value if you fall into one common trap. Don't miss it. Let's move on to a nut that's everywhere: granola bars, snack packs, health food aisles, you name it. I'm talking about almonds. And yes, they absolutely deserve their superfood label, but only if you're eating them the right way. Almonds are loaded with calcium, vitamin E, and powerful plant compounds called flavonoids, most of which are concentrated in the brown skin you often see on raw almonds. These nutrients support strong bones, protect your heart, and help reduce oxidative stress as we age. But here's the mistake I see way too often. People reach for salted, oil-roasted, or flavored almonds, thinking they're still making a healthy choice. Let me break it to you gently. Those versions can actually undo most of the health benefits almonds are known for. Here's why. Salted almonds are often packed with sodium, sometimes over 150 milligrams in just 1 ounce. And most people don't stop at just 1 ounce. High sodium levels can raise your blood pressure, cause fluid retention, and even interfere with heart medications like beta blockers or diuretics. Oil-roasted almonds are another trap. During roasting, vegetable oils like canola or soybean can oxidize under high heat, creating compounds that promote inflammation, the exact opposite of what almonds are supposed to help with. And flavored almonds? Whether it's honey roasted, barbecue, or wasabi, they're often loaded with sugar, artificial additives, and unnecessary calories. So what's the best way to enjoy almonds? Stick to raw, unsalted almonds with the skin on. The skin contains those vital flavonoids that work with vitamin E to double the antioxidant effect. About 15 almonds per day is a solid serving for most adults over 60. And here's a pro tip. Chew them slowly and pair them with a source of protein or fiber, like a few almonds with Greek yogurt or berries. That combo supports stable blood sugar and keeps you full longer. Also, don't forget about storage. Keep your almonds in a cool, dark place. Even raw nuts can go rancid when exposed to heat or light over time. So to sum it up, almonds can be your heart and bones' best friend, but only if they're raw, unprocessed, and eaten mindfully. Next up, we're diving into one of the most satisfying and surprisingly senior-friendly nuts out there. Don't go anywhere. Now let's talk about a nut that's colorful, satisfying, and often overlooked when it comes to serious health benefits: pistachios. These little green gems don't just taste great, they're surprisingly powerful for your heart, your eyes, and even your digestion. Pistachios are rich in potassium, a mineral that helps regulate blood pressure by flushing out excess sodium from your system. Just 1 ounce gives you nearly 285 milligrams of potassium, more than most fruits and vegetables in the same portion. They also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that support eye health and may help protect against age-related macular degeneration. On top of that, you're getting a good dose of fiber, which slows down digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps you fuller for longer. But one of the most underrated benefits of pistachios? Their shell. Yup, you heard that right. The fact that you have to crack them open means you naturally slow down while eating, giving your body more time to register fullness. In fact, studies have shown that people who eat pistachios in the shell consume up to 40% fewer calories than those who eat the pre-shelled kind, just because they had to work for it a little. That's a small behavioral shift that makes a big difference, especially for those trying to manage weight or avoid mindless snacking. Here's my advice. Go for unsalted, dry roasted, or better yet, raw pistachios. Skip the ones that are flavored or coated in sugar, they tend to cancel out the health benefits. A good serving size is about 30 to 40 pistachios a day, which is roughly 160 calories, just enough to be satisfying, but not overwhelming. And here's a great habit: pair pistachios with a little movement. Eat a handful as an afternoon snack, then go for a light walk. It's a simple combo that can boost energy, support digestion, and improve circulation all at once. So yes, pistachios are fun, delicious, and portable, but when eaten mindfully, they're also a secret weapon for aging well. Up next, we're diving into one of the richest, most indulgent nuts, but it comes with a catch. Don't miss it. Alright, let's talk about a nut that feels like a treat. You know the one: smooth, buttery, rich in flavor. Yes, I'm talking about macadamia nuts. They're often labeled as heart-healthy and show up in everything from snack mixes to gourmet desserts. And while they do contain healthy monounsaturated fats, there's a side to macadamias that not many people know about, especially those trying to manage weight, cholesterol, or gallbladder health. Here's the deal. Macadamia nuts are extremely calorie-dense. Just 10 to 12 nuts, a small handful, can pack over 200 calories and more than 22 grams of fat. That's more fat per gram than many cuts of red meat. And while some of that fat is beneficial, macadamias also contain a notable amount of saturated fat, which can be harder for aging livers and gallbladders to process. I've had patients come to me complaining of bloating or mild abdominal pain, thinking it was something they ate for dinner. Turns out, it was the innocent-looking bowl of macadamias they were snacking on every afternoon. For those with gallbladder sensitivity or silent gallstones, this rich nut can quietly trigger digestive discomfort. Another thing to watch for? Portion control. Macadamias are so smooth and tasty that it's easy to eat a lot without realizing it. Before you know it, you've eaten a meal's worth of calories from just a few bites. So what's the solution? Enjoy macadamias as an occasional indulgence, not a daily habit. I usually recommend sticking to just 3 or 4 nuts at a time. Savor them slowly, like you would a fine piece of dark chocolate. Choose raw or dry roasted, and avoid oil roasted or flavored varieties that add salt, sugar, or inflammatory oils. And here's a helpful trick: keep them out of sight. If they're sitting in a big jar on your counter, you'll likely snack mindlessly, but if they're tucked away, you'll be more intentional, and that small change can protect both your waistline and your digestive health. Bottom line? Macadamias aren't bad. They're rich, satisfying, and yes, even elegant. But after 60, the margin for error is smaller, and this is one nut you'll want to enjoy with mindfulness. Next up, we'll take a closer look at a nut that's been in your pantry for years but could be interfering with your medications without you even realizing it. Stay tuned. Let's talk about a nut that's technically not even a nut. It's everywhere: lunchboxes, snack bars, peanut butter jars, and for many, it's a childhood favorite. Yes, we're talking about peanuts. Now here's the surprising truth: peanuts aren't tree nuts, they're legumes. Which means they grow underground in warm, moist soil. And that environment happens to be the perfect breeding ground for a group of toxic mold byproducts called aflatoxins. These compounds have been linked to liver damage and, in higher concentrations, even liver cancer over time. Now don't panic. Food safety regulations do exist to keep aflatoxin levels in check. But if you're eating peanut products every day, even small amounts can quietly accumulate, especially if your liver is already working harder due to age or medications. But that's not the only concern with peanuts. They're also very high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 isn't inherently bad, the problem is imbalance. Most of us already get too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3. And when that ratio skews too far, it triggers chronic inflammation, which can show up as joint pain, brain fog, and even cardiovascular strain. There's more. Peanuts contain vitamin K, which may interfere with blood thinners like warfarin. I've had patients see fluctuations in their clotting levels, only to realize it was tied to a steady stream of peanut butter toast every morning. So, what's the takeaway? I'm not saying you have to avoid peanuts altogether, but use them with caution. If you enjoy peanut butter, choose one that's organic, unsweetened, and free from hydrogenated oils. And watch the portion size, a small spoon, not half the jar. Limit how often you eat them. And pay attention to how your body responds. Because sometimes, the foods we've loved the longest are the ones we need to rethink the most carefully as we age. Coming up next, we'll look at a nut that's soft, sweet, and trendy, but maybe quietly stressing your kidneys and spiking your blood sugar. You might be surprised. Now let's move on to a nut that seems gentle, tasty, and totally harmless, cashews. They're soft, slightly sweet, and often found in healthy snack mixes, nut butters, or even vegan cheese alternatives. And sure, they feel light, but here's the catch. Cashews can quietly throw your system off balance if you're not careful, especially as you get older. First, cashews are high in carbohydrates and relatively low in fiber. That combo means they can spike your blood sugar quickly, especially if you're pre-diabetic or managing type 2 diabetes. You eat a handful, and your glucose can jump in a matter of minutes. The sweetness and soft texture make them incredibly easy to overeat without realizing it. Second, and this is something most people have never heard, cashews are rich in oxalates. These are natural compounds that bind to calcium in your body and can increase your risk of kidney stones, especially if your kidney function is already compromised. And because oxalates interfere with calcium absorption, they may also affect bone health, something no one over 60 should overlook. And here's a little known fact that might surprise you. Raw cashews in their natural state are actually toxic. They contain a compound called urushiol, the same chemical found in poison ivy. That's why cashews must always be steamed or roasted before they're safe to eat. So if you ever see raw cashew butter or trail mix, make sure it's been properly processed. So what's the recommendation? Treat cashews more like a special treat, not a daily staple. Avoid cashew butters, especially sweetened ones, and skip trail mixes where cashews make up the bulk. They're too easy to overconsume. If you do eat them, limit yourself to a small handful and pair them with protein or fiber to slow down absorption. In short, cashews are comforting and familiar, but they're not as innocent as they look. Be mindful, and you'll avoid the hidden risks. Coming up next, we'll take a look at 2 bonus nuts that can be either healing or harmful depending on how you eat them, and most people are getting them wrong. You won't want to miss this one. Next up, we have hazelnuts, a nut that doesn't always get the spotlight, but deserves some serious recognition for its heart protective benefits. Hazelnuts are packed with monounsaturated fats, the same kind found in olive oil. These fats help lower bad cholesterol, LDL, and raise the good kind, HDL, making hazelnuts a fantastic snack for cardiovascular health. They're also a good source of vitamin E, which protects cells from oxidative damage and supports skin and brain function. But here's where people go wrong. Most of the hazelnuts we see in stores are coated in chocolate, sugar, or salt. Think Nutella or those shiny holiday nut blends. And while a few indulgences are fine, these added ingredients undo the natural benefits of the nut itself. You're taking a heart-healthy food and turning it into a candy bar. Another thing to note, hazelnuts are high in calories. Just like other nuts, that means portion control still matters. It's easy to snack on them mindlessly, especially when they're roasted and salted. Here's my recommendation. If you're going to include hazelnuts in your routine, go for raw or dry roasted, unsalted, and uncoated varieties. Limit yourself to about a small handful, 10-12 nuts. And pair them with something rich in fiber, like an apple or a few baby carrots, to help balance blood sugar. Hazelnuts are a hidden gem, but only if you let them shine in their natural form. Now, let's wrap up this list with a nut that's rich, buttery, and often misunderstood. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about pecans. Pecans have a buttery texture and slightly sweet taste, making them perfect for pies, pastries, or just snacking straight from the jar. But underneath the indulgent flavor is a nut that's actually loaded with antioxidants. particularly polyphenols, which help fight inflammation and oxidative stress, two big contributors to chronic disease and aging. In fact, some studies have shown that pecans may improve heart health, lower bad cholesterol, and support metabolic function when eaten in moderation. But the key word here is moderation. Pecans are one of the most calorie-dense nuts out there. Just a small handful, about 19 halves, can contain over 200 calories. Add sugar, salt, or baking into the mix, and you're looking at a blood sugar spike, followed by energy crashes and weight gain over time. Also, pecans are so rich and soft that it's easy to eat more than you realize. If you're the kind of person who snacks while working or watching TV, pecans can be a dangerous choice for unconscious overeating. So here's how to do it right. Eat them raw or lightly roasted, unsweetened, and unsalted. Stick to a modest portion, and treat pecans like a garnish or nutrient boost, not the main event. Sprinkle a few over a salad, blend them into a smoothie, or enjoy a few after lunch as a treat, not a meal. Pecans are powerful allies in healthy aging, but only when you respect their richness. So now that we've gone through all 9 nuts, let's take a moment to step back and reflect. Every nut we talked about, whether it was Brazil nuts, almonds, peanuts, or pecans, has something powerful to offer. Each one brings real, measurable health benefits. But here's the truth that often gets overlooked. The line between healing and harming is thinner than we think. Especially as we age. After 60, your body becomes more sensitive. Your digestion, your metabolism, even your immune response, everything reacts more noticeably to what you put in your body. That's why it's not just what you eat that matters. It's how, when, how much, and how fresh. One of my patients, Lorraine, is the perfect example. She didn't go on a special diet. She didn't buy expensive supplements. All she did was make one small change. She cut out cashews, which were giving her digestive trouble, and started eating just one Brazil nut every morning. Within weeks, her energy came back, her sleep improved, and even her blood work looked better. That's the power of precision. So here's my closing advice. Be selective. Not every nut is for everybody. Be moderate. A handful is often plenty. Choose raw or dry roasted options. Skip the sugar, the salt, and the artificial coatings. Store your nuts properly, cool, dark places or the fridge to protect those delicate oils. And most of all, listen to your body. If something leaves you bloated, tired, or off, don't dismiss it. Because in the end, eating smart is even more important than just eating healthy. It's the little shifts that lead to big results, when you know what to watch for and how to respond. So, which nut will you be more mindful of starting today? And which one might you cut back on? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And it might just help someone else, too. Thanks for spending this time with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who could use a health boost, one nut at a time. I'm Dr. Emily Cater, and I'll see you in the next video. Before you go, I've got a special health gift I'd love to share with you. On this channel, I share simple, effective health tips, all based on real scientific research and practical, everyday experience. And if you'd like to receive a free gift, it's super easy. Hit the subscribe button, comment below, claim my gift. I'll send it straight to you. Don't miss out, because your journey to better health starts with small choices just like this one.